Welcome back once again. I hope everyone is doing wonderfully well. Today I'm here with just simple recipe, 2 methods that you can use to make your own homemade tomatoes paste at home. Welcome back once again. So this is the first method for my tomato paste. So the first one, I'm just going to add in some spices. So I have my red bell pepper, I have ginger, garlic and onion, and these are the tomatoes that I'm going to use. They are all washed and clean. I love these tomatoes because it's red inside out, and you can see I have 2 types of tomatoes that I've cut them. The first one is the regular tomatoes. You can see the inside is a little bit white and yellow. The bottom one, or the last one, is the one that I'm coming to use right now, is red inside and out. So I love to use them. So you can use any type of tomatoes to make the tomato paste. So at this time I'm just prepping all my ingredients, cut them, then after that I will start my tomato paste. So the garlic, I love to use the back of my knife to crush them a little bit, not too hard, but to just crush them. By doing that, it helps me to take the skin out easily for me. So let's continue. Stay tuned whilst I'm prepping all the ingredients. Then after that, we'll start the process. So the bell pepper, I'm just going to take out the seed. You can prefer to add the seed or take them out. That is my preferences. And you can use knife or potato peeler. Any of them will work great for you. For the tomatoes, I'm just going to take out the seed. Sometimes I take the seed out or I add them, especially when the tomatoes are from our gardens. Yeah, I add the seed. I have a reason for that, but if I buy them outside, most of the time I take the seed out, then I squeeze the water from it. So at this time, I'm just washing the ginger, garlic and the onion thoroughly to make sure. I'm going to use just the water or the juicy from the seed to blend the tomatoes. So repeat the blending process of the tomatoes till you finish blending all your tomatoes. So now that I'm done, I'm just going to put my tomato sauce on the fire and cook it under medium heat till all the water evaporated from it. Make sure you stir it frequently so that it will not burn from the bottom of the pot. So after that, I allow it to cool down completely, and I'm using my glass bottle to bottle it. I love the glass bottle because of the acidity of the tomatoes, so you can use any kind of bottles of your choice. I'm just adding some coconut oil or oil to prevent it from getting mold or spoil on the surface of the tomato paste. So this is the second method that I'm coming to use for the tomato paste. So this is the tomatoes from our garden. We planted it ourselves, so I don't want them to spoil. I've already used salt and vinegar to wash them already, and today I'm just giving it just a quick rinse, and I'm just going to start my tomato paste. So I'm just going to add a little bit of beetroot. The first method I used the red bell pepper. This one I'm just going to use beetroot to help it give it nice color, because this tomatoes is not all that red color like the first one that I used. So at this time you can see some black spot on it. I'm just taking everything out because I don't want to see that black spot on my tomato paste. So I'm just trying my best to take all of them out. That's why I have that small bowl beside me. So this time I'm just going to add the seed to it, because we planted this ourselves. Sometimes I take the seed out, especially the one that I buy outside, because we have research that's saying that the tomato seed consume a lot of chemicals when we plant them. So when I buy them outside, I always buy organics, but I still take the seed out. But this one we planted it ourselves, so we didn't add any chemicals or anything to it. So I'm just blending all the seed with it. The beetroot, I'm not using all. You need to add the quantity that you think will make your tomato paste nice and give it a little bit color. So it depends on how you want it, but I didn't use all the beetroots. So just continue blending it, repeat the blending until you are done with all the tomatoes being blended. So look at how nice and beautiful this look like. It's just a simple method. So whilst I'm done, I'm just going to strain this one out. I'm just going to strain it. And the difference between these tomatoes and the other one, the first method, the tomatoes that I used, the skin is a little bit soft. It's easy to blend smoothly, but this types of tomato skin is a little bit hard. So even when you blend it, you still get some of the skin remain. So I'm just going to strain this one to get out the excess skin from it, because I want the tomato paste to be smooth. So I will just continue to strain it till everything is done. So after I strain it up, this is the back of the tomatoes, the rest. So I'm not going to throw this away or discard it, because I'm going to make fresh tomato sauce. If you don't have time to go through all this process, you can make your fresh tomato sauce, put it in the fridge or freezer and use them. They help you to cook fast. So at this time, I'm just going to put this on the fire and cook it. I cannot tell you how many hours to cook, but right now it's cooking. The color has changed from this to this, so it means it is still in the cooking process. So for me, I just allow it to cook for some hours for the water quantity to go down. As you can see, my next check, the water quantity has gone down. So at this time, I'm just going to turn the heat down and I'll set it aside and allow it to cool down completely. Then after that, I'm just going to strain the water from it. So the first method, I allow all the water to dry by itself, but the second method, I'm just going to strain the water from it. So you can use any kind of the method to make your tomato paste at home. So I'm just going to use my nut bag to strain this to make it easy. You can use any kind of rag or any strainer that can help you to strain just the water or to separate the food from the water. So I'm just going to add them to the bag, squeeze some of the water from it. Look at this. Just right now, look at all this water from it. So I will try my best to squeeze as much as of water from it. So after that, I'm just going to leave it in the colander, because the rest of the water have to drain out. So by leaving it in the colander, the water will be able to pass through it, and I'll put it in the bowl that will separate the water from the colander, so that it will help the rest of the water from the tomato paste to drain out completely. As you can see from the video, the bowl on the bottom is not touching the colander, so that the water will have access to drain well. So at this time I'm just going to put a heavy tin on it, and I'm going to leave it throughout the night because I did this at night, so I can leave it till the next day. But you can also do it early in the morning, and you can just allow it to sit throughout the day, then you can check it out at the night. So the next day, as you can see, so this is just a few water that I got this morning. Before I was going to bed last night, there was a lot of water in the bottom bowls, so I discard them out. That is why this morning there's just few water that I'm showing it to you guys. So at this time the tomato paste is ready. Look at how beautiful and smooth. Yes, I hope you try these methods to make your own homemade tomato paste, and you love it and you enjoy it. Homemade is always the best. Right now the tomatoes has been cooled down completely, and I'm coming to use my glass jar to store the tomatoes. So like I said, I love the glass jar to store my tomatoes because of its acidity. You can use any kind of bottles or any kind of anything you want to store your tomato paste. So right now I'm just using this small soft spatula to close all the air space between them. By doing that, it helps to prevent it from spoiling, and it also helps its lifespan. So see how I'm using the spatula, soft spatula, small spatula. It helps quickly for closing up the air space between the tomatoes. So after that, I'm just using the towel paper to clean the excess tomato paste around the bottle. I'm just going to add a little bit of vegetable oil to prevent the top from getting mold or spoil. So the oil, you can use any kind of oil of your choice. And spread everything around so that every part of the top will cover with the oil. So I'm just going to cover it up tight. Use airtight bottles so that you can cover it tight. So the next step is my hot water bath for the tomato paste. So I have my boil water. I turn the heat down because of burning precaution for not to splash on me, and I took some of the water off because when you dip the bottles, when the water is too much, they will overflow. And after that, I'm just refilled it back to the neck of my bottles because that is where my tomatoes paste reach. So you have to fill it to where your tomato paste reach. And I'm going to put it back on the fire, turn the heat on, and I'm just going to cook it for 15 minutes. Then I'll turn the heat off and I'll take them off from the hot water and allow them to cool down. So tomato paste is ready. Don't open it, and if you don't open it, it will last you for a year over your countertop. And anytime you take the bottle of the tomato paste and you open it up, make sure you put the rest back in the fridge. And this is my tomato tea. I will bring a video to explain more about it and how you can make it if you are not even making the tomato paste. So check for my videos later. And until I will see you again on my next video, take care and I love you all. Bye y'all.